Well, hey, Terry, it's good to be with you. This is Terry Dougherty. She is the executive director of Heights Interfaith Ministry. Inside that ministry is housed the Hymn Food Pantry, which the Houston Vineyard has been a part of for years now. I'm so glad we had a chance to sit down and talk today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, so I want to start with a little bit of the history, specifically of the food pantry. I know it started in 2009, but can you give me a little bit of the history of where this was birthed out and how we got to where we are today?
Yeah, so it did start in 2009. It was formed by a collection of three originating sponsoring churches. Zion Lutheran was the first one that charged our founder, Alice Bongers, to find a need within the community. And so between Zion, Christ the King, and St. Mark's Methodist Church, they formed the pantry. And it opened in 2009. Mainly as a provider of meals, of sandwiches, and then it went into bagged groceries. And what they found over time was to provide dignity to our clients, the dignity of choice of selecting their own products. We're one of the first ones within the city and one of the agencies of the Houston Food Bank to move to client choice. And so we just celebrated our 10th anniversary last year. And we have served over 47,000 families
Wow.
and over 160,000 individuals in that period of time.
Yeah, I mean, it is quite a legacy in 10 short years. And one of the things I love about the Hymn Food Pantry is that this is really a partner-based organization. There are 6 churches that partner to form sort of like the core group of the partners of the Hymn Food Pantry as far as churches go. And so can you tell me a little bit about that? I know there were 3 founding church members and now 3 churches, including the Houston Vineyard, that have come alongside in recent years. How has that played out? What is the importance of that for the Hymn Food Pantry?
So it's huge. We now are 6 sponsored churches. So Zion, Christ the King, St. Mark's, St. Andrew's, the Houston Vineyard, and the church at 1548 Heights. Those sponsoring churches allow us to do what we do. We are 100% volunteer driven and donation driven, so that our sponsored churches provide us annual dues. Zion Lutheran provides us our building rent-free. And throughout the year, collections are made monetarily, but also products that we then are able to distribute to our clients. And finally, most importantly, a group of volunteers, since not one person can serve 60,000 people.
Yeah.
We need those hands and feet to come and serve throughout the week so that we can do what we do.
Yeah, and even in sort of like the spirit of partnership, you guys are also partnering with the Houston Food Bank, with Trader Joe's, with the Kolache Shop in the Heights, with different organizations, Kroger, and to be able to provide a variety of foods. What I love about what you do as well, though, like, and we talked about this earlier, one of the only things you'll spend money on to like purchase in apart from what is donated are sanitary things, toilet paper, soap, shampoo, that kind of thing. Can you tell me a little bit about like sort of the heart behind that and how this adds sort of to the choices that you're giving clients and the dignity that you're giving them as they shop with you?
Sure. So we're like a little grocery store. And so when clients come in, they're able to, depending on the size of their family, they pick and they choose what works for them. We provide basic staple items, so nutritious. That is one of the big things that we do. So any donations that we receive, we try and make sure that what we're getting is something nutritious. We are an agency of the Houston Food Bank, and so we do purchase product from them, pennies on the dollar, but we still have to pay them. So beyond food, what we found is to provide those basic toiletry needs for our clients, to give them that dignity of, simply it's a bar of soap and a shampoo bottle and a roll of toilet paper. Those seem very little to us, but they're huge. And so we also have diapers that we're able to give our clients, but those are completely donated. We will use our funds to purchase those basic dignity giving items.
Yeah. And so, like, as we look at this in just a short time, we get to see this ministry that is dedicated to partnership, really dedicated to giving people choice and dignity. What would you say, in a nutshell, is really the mission of the HIM Food Pantry? Then, like, what is sort of the driving mission of the pantry?
So, and honestly, and I realize you can see it behind. I think it's reversed maybe, but it's neighbors helping neighbors. Yeah, it is on the right direction. I wasn't sure if you could see it properly.
Good. Yeah.
Neighbors,
I think we're good.
Neighbors helping neighbors fight hunger, one person at a time, one family at a time. And that's what we're trying to do. We are not big. You look at a number of other organizations, we do what we do with an amazing group of volunteers, and we are able to continue because people show up. But beyond that, our previous director and founder, Alice Bongers, one of the things she taught me was God does provide. When we don't think we have what we need, God shows up and hands us what we need through other people. So really, that is our mission. Our mission is simply to be here for the community and to provide our clients with a welcome and no judgment. And honestly, what it comes down to is a smile on your face, to give them a little respite in a difficult time.
Yeah, I know. I've taken my kids to volunteer, and what I loved about it is from the moment you walk in until you leave, you are seen as an individual. It is you're seen, you're listened to, and there's my daughters who really loved doing that and loved sort of like having the checklist and going through and it's like, okay, here's what you want, check it off. But the conversations that happen there, and I think it's part of the beauty of your shift and your pivot years ago to bring people inside instead of here's your bag outside. Bring them inside, walk them around, give them choice. Not only does it give them choice, but the dignity of listening to their story and hearing them and spending that short time with them. And historically, there's been like highs and lows. I mean, like you could have, we talked about this, like weeks where there's like a lot of people, and then weeks where you could have as many as 80 people in a day, and then it could drop to 40. And in COVID, it's been like that as well. And I think there's a lot of things that play into it. We talked about the fact that there was food drops by HASC and the Houston Food Bank. And I know a lot of churches have gotten involved in food programs. But it also means you're now sort of like called back into the roots of this ministry that was able to pivot based on mission to where you're not able to do some of the things you were doing before based on COVID. Can you talk about some of the challenges that COVID has sort of like placed on you guys?
Yeah, I mean, basically, we're not anything if not flexible. And I think that through the last couple of months, people have been adjusting as everybody has needed to be. I'm really proud. We never closed our doors. So we have been open from the time that the city of Houston started shutting down. So the challenges that we found is primarily is we are not client choice right now. And that's a very difficult thing because we are completely pre-bagging our product and distributing through a drive-through outside. We have done so much to ensure the safety of both our clients and our volunteers while still providing them those standard groceries. So one of the things that we started real early on that our challenge was is because we are so small, we couldn't be a food drop where you saw 400 cars drive up. We were never prepped or able to be that emergency food drop. We wanted to do what we do best, which is provide the basic groceries to clients and their families. And so the challenges that we saw was, how do we bring it all in, get it all packed up, and get it out the door while at the same time limiting contact and limiting the number of volunteers that we can have inside. So we've adjusted that by creating new times throughout the week. So we used to only have volunteers mainly come on Thursday evenings and Saturday mornings. Now we have volunteer opportunities from Wednesday morning all the way to Saturday at noon, because we're going to limit the number of people here inside.
Now, has sort of the realities of shelter in place and all these things, has that impacted? I know one of the other things I've loved about HIM Food Pantry is that not only is there the staples and the non-perishables, but you guys also do a really good job of having nutritional options that, like things like eggs and vegetables and things that are part of a healthy, sort of robust diet. How has that impacted your ability for the fresh food that you guys have been known for?
Early on, we were really worried about that. And an example is, if you remember going to the grocery store early on, people were out of toilet paper. And one of the things that I noticed also was out of eggs, out of some of those. You could get all the vegetables you wanted, but eggs in particular, milk was another one. And we purchase eggs every week. And I have a volunteer that goes to a wholesale location and picks up our eggs. And one week he walked in and he handed me the bill, and it was almost $500.
Wow.
And for something that normally would have cost us about $250.
It was double the price, yeah.
And so I looked at our volunteer and I said, well, we're done with eggs. And I sat there and I thought about it throughout the day. I went to get the mail. I opened up our mail. We had a $500 check. That was our egg money.
Yeah.
And so what we determined, and this is as we were working through the issues of COVID and all of these things, is if we couldn't get eggs, our clients couldn't get eggs.
Right.
Our clients couldn't get this product. So again, as COVID-19 has affected so many, we've taken those monetary donations for egg money for items that we can't get from the Houston Food Bank right now. So yes, we're seeing it. We're realizing that our clients aren't able to get the standard things that they would get. Plus, a lot of them are laid off of hourly jobs that weren't happening.
Yeah, and I think this is part of the mission of, like, neighbors helping neighbors, is really, this is personal. And so this isn't just about filling the perceived need. It's really about meeting people where they're at. And so your ability as the HIM Food Pantry, to pivot and to adjust, that continues to move people towards being seen and dignity, I think is a hallmark of what the HIM Food Pantry has always been. And I think even in these challenging times where you can't open the doors and offer choice in the way they have previously, there's still the heart and mission of the pantry that comes out in things, which seemingly, like, we might be like, oh, well, so there's no eggs. Well, no, they're important, and they're important to our clients. And so I love that. And I think it speaks a lot also to the heritage of the pantry. I mean, like, you guys have been about this for a while, and you say they were smaller, but you guys have made giant pivots along the way. In the initial sort of iterations of the HIM Food Pantry, it was restricted to a zip code, essentially.
It was. And following Harvey back in 2017, we opened up to serve all zip codes in the Houston area. And now fast forward 2 more years, 3 years almost, to COVID-19, we are seeing that more and more as well. We have people coming in from all over the city. And we say, we serve any zip code in the Houston area. Well, when the Houston area proper is, 3 times the size of a small country, we're getting people from outside of those jurisdictions as well.
Yeah. I love that. And so it's one of those missional aspects that even though the world seems to be changing every 15 minutes right now, that mission and the centricness of that mission is really unchanging. And so
Yeah.
it keeps taking on different iterations and different and sort of puts on different hats at different times. But the beauty of neighbors helping neighbors hasn't changed since the initial food giveaway in 2009.
Right.
And so it's one of those things that, like, for us as a partner church, it gives us great joy that we can be part of a kingdom endeavor that really looks at people and sees value in them and gives them dignity and speaks life to them, even in some of their most dark and vulnerable times. And even, you know, and especially when you're seeing people driving in from far out for some groceries, and you're able to, like, give some life, and even something as simple as eggs changes
Yeah.
that, like this staple food that is difficult to find. And if it's double price, if they're charging you double, they're charging everybody double. And
Right.
so all of a sudden, something that is completely inaccessible is gifted in a way that brings life. It's awesome. So, okay, we're talking, we'll have people from our church and other places looking. We see the work of the Hymn Food Pantry, and some of us are like, oh, like, well, that's awesome, but what can I do? And so my question is, what can people do? What are the ways people can connect? I know that we did the Hymn Food Pantry item of the month in the Houston Vineyard and we would talk about it. It was on our bulletin.
Yeah.
We can't do that anymore because we're not meeting live right now. But what are the other ways people can connect?
So the Vineyard was fantastic with your product of the month. I mean, I loved it when, you know, the carload would come with all this spaghetti sauce
Yes.
and pasta. It was fantastic. So I understand that people can't bring them to churches anymore, but we actually do have a donation box right outside our backside door. And it's called Feed Frank, and it's a drop box. And so if you look at the front of the box, it has a picture of a gentleman that passed away a number of years ago that kind of gave us our endowment for our eggs and our produce. And on the side of it is a flap that people can drop non-perishable. So think of things that don't need to be refrigerated, and no produce or anything, no household goods, but just those basic products, those canned veggies, those canned beans. Think about protein in a can. That's so important right now. So that is one way. Donate to product, just come directly to our site. Another way is monetary donations. We use those funds to purchase the items that we can't get right now through the Houston Food Bank. And last but honestly the most important is, if people have the time, come sign up and work here at the pantry. As I said, we have volunteer slots throughout the week where we receive product that needs to be sorted, and we also pre-bag everything. Since everything has to be gone through that drive-through, we have shifts to bag up product. We are limiting the number of people within our building for the safety and security of everybody, and so we ask that people just go to himfoodpantry.org and click on the volunteer sign up link, and you'll see all the spots that you're able to help out.
That's awesome. Also, there's still always toilet paper, soap, shampoo,
Oh my
those
gosh.
things. So
Yes.
if somebody hoarded toilet paper and you're feeling pretty bad about it now that there's more in stock and you can't sell it on Amazon for double that's a great donation item.
Absolutely. Real early on in COVID-19, when you couldn't find toilet paper and we were able to give one roll of toilet paper to every client, I handed a bag of those toiletries to a client, and I said, if I see this on eBay, I'm not going to be happy. They were just so grateful to receive those basic items. So yes, we do purchase those products, those bars of soap, shampoo bottles, and toilet paper rolls. That is something that we have to go out and purchase on a regular basis.
Yeah. Also, I think what is another thing to really keep present is, as we look at COVID-19, we know that the long-term economic effects of this are going to be much, much greater than we're even experiencing right now.
Yeah.
And so So this is the long game, and the food pantry is playing. We're looking at this as a long game, and because there's 10 years of history and there's 10 years of faithfulness, we know that this is a place that we can wisely invest, that will be steward the resources well, that will reach the people that have need, and
Right.
we know they're in it for the long run.
Yeah.
You guys have been here for a while. You've served this community. You've adapted over, whether it's Harvey and now COVID-19. You guys have. It's a real honor for us as the Houston Vineyard to partner with you guys and to see the kingdom of God expand and people to find hope in times of difficulty through this interfaith ministry. So I think it's amazing. We'll put the link of the website in the description of these videos so people can find it very early and very early. That's not what I mean, but they can find it easily.
Easily, right.
Connect. Yeah. Well, hey, listen, I am so thankful for your time. I know you're crazy busy. We talked about this, like you're busy doing stuff, and sometimes it's hard to stop and let people know what you're doing because the work is so important. So I really appreciate you taking the time to talk with me today, and check in, volunteer, donate, go feed the machine there, or the big,
go feed Frank.
Go feed Frank. Also, you guys have a new mural that Veronica did, which is beautiful.
Oh my gosh, Ronnie is amazingly gifted. What just a gift that she is.
Yeah, she's amazing. And so go check out the mural that Veronica did. Veronica is amazing, and I'm so glad that you guys were able to partner on that. It's beautiful. Hey, we really appreciate you. Thank you so much. We're glad we get to partner, and we'll talk soon.
Okay. Take care. Appreciate it.